want to block with him. He's got the 3 toughness. He can block the grizzly bears. He's okay. You know, 23rd, 22nd, 23rd card. Sure, you can play with him if you need to, but shouldn't be high on the list. Burning Inquiry is a new card. 1 red sorcery. Each player draws 3 cards, then discards 3 cards at random. Could be interesting in like a Megrim, although Megrim's never shown itself to be good. Megrim slash Underworld Dreams slash Flashback something kind of deck, you know, Reanimator, whatever. It's an interesting effect. It's only 1 red mana, so it's the kind of card that if it could find a home, you know, someday. The randomness is tough, but then you don't want your opponent to get better card quality usually, so. Burst of Speed is a new card, 1 red. Sorcery, creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. It's pretty bad. Yeah. If I don't know, maybe you could play it as a 1 of in some kind of reanimator deck where you dump your whole graveyard onto the field in 1 turn, you know, like a living death type effect. And then you want to give them all haste and finish the game in 1 turn. It's really bad. Meh. Cancel. It's always been solid in draft. I don't like taking it too high, but you know, 11th, 12th pick is fine. Canyon Minotaur, I've never been that happy about. In Shards of Alara block. But in this format, 4 for a 3/3 is fine. The cards are just generally weaker in this set than the main sets. So you can take them, you know, 8th, 9th, whatever. Capricious Ifrit, 6 for a 6/4. At the beginning of your upkeep, you choose target non-land permanent you control and up to 2 your opponents control. And you destroy 1 of them at random. So 2/3 of the time, it's good for you, assuming they have 2 permanents that you want to kill that aren't lands. And you have other guy other than Capricious Ifrit. Would I be willing to play him? 6 for 6/4. Yeah, I'd probably play him. He seems all right. It's a really luck-based card though. Sometimes he's just gonna own you. But he's a crawl worm, which means he's 6 mana for a 6/4. And his ability is generally in your favor, which means supposedly he should be slightly better than a crawl worm. Or at least just, you know, sometimes you'll get hosed, sometimes they'll get hosed. But, you know, not amazing. I wouldn't take it like super high. I'd definitely take removal over him, I think. Captain of the Watch is a new card they printed. 4 colorless and 2 white for a 3/3 human soldier, Vigilance. Other soldier creatures you control get +1/+1 and also have Vigilance. When he comes into play, you put 3 1/1 tokens into play. So he's got a lot of people are comparing it to Siege King Commander. It's more like Cloud Goat Ranger, really. But yeah, you get 9 power and toughness worth of guys for 6 mana. So I would take it over removal, certainly in limited. Very high pick. Not that many things I'd take over it. Constructed. It has some potential just because once again he has a come to play effect that's relevant instead of just being a dude that can be killed by Doomblade. So he's alright. Kind of cool. A little expensive, so probably not for constructed. 6 mana. They reprinted Celestial Purge from Conflux. Colorless and a white. Exile target black or red permanent. It's not going to be nearly as good in draft. 10th edition draft than as it was in Shards of Alara, where like, you know, 90% of the decks have some target for it. In 10th edition, it might only be 70% or something. So a lot of times you'll have to leave it in your board. if you don't have a lot of playables, you might play it main, just because most people want to play either black or red to have access to the better removal colors. So, but you know, I wouldn't play it if I had a super strong deck and I didn't need to, and I wouldn't take it that high either. Like maybe mid-range or something. Cemetery Reaper. There's a new. They printed a new cycle of lords. This one is the Zombie Lord, the new Zombie Lord. Colorless, a black and a black for a zombie. He's a 2/2. Other zombie creatures you control get +1/+1. His name is Cemetery Reaper. 2 colorless and a black. Exile, tap. Exile target creature card from a graveyard, which means take it from the graveyard and put it in the exile zone, which is the same as remove from game. Remove from game used to be, except the exiled zone does not include cards in your sideboard the way remove from game used to, or something. That's what I think. So you exile a creature from a graveyard, and then you put a 2/2 black zombie creature token into the battlefield. Since he gives all other zombies +1/+1, it's really a 3/3 as long as he sticks around. Which presumably, if they're letting you do it, they don't have removal for him, at least not that turn. So, 3 to make a 3/3, kind of a necrogenesis effect, right? It's really good. I take him very highly in limited. Probably would take him over removal, yeah. So anything that recurringly makes tokens efficiently is generally amazing. Centaur Courser is a new card. 2 and a green for a Centaur Warrior. 3/3. Centaur Courser. It's fine. It's solid. Definitely take it at the higher end of creature cards. 3 for 3/3. Chandra Nalar is always going to be a bomb. First pick, certainly. Child of Night. Colorless and a black for a 2/1 lifelink. I wouldn't want. It's a cool card. Colorless and a black for a 2/1. It's also a vampire. Child of Night. So that's cool for the tribe. This guy would. I don't think he's going to be very good for constructed. Lifelink, right? They changed the lifelink rules, so now you can't have multiple instances of lifelink on the same creature. You can only have it once, which is fine. So either it has lifelink or it doesn't. Either it has first strike or it doesn't. It can't have more than one first strike. It's a mid-range card. I wouldn't take it, really highly, because strategically on the board, it's not going to be able to trade for anything very big, and it's going to get stopped pretty quickly, and then the life gain aspect is not going to be that amazing, right? But it's solid. I mean, I would take it like, 9th, 10th pick, certainly. Some people will think that's really good, and they'll take it way too high. Clone. Clone's fine. Clone I would almost play like a removal spell. So it's a 4-mana removal spell. Think of it that way, because you can play it, and it's gonna be the same thing as one of their creatures, which presumably you can either trade for or just start hitting them with it if you're not wanting to trade or whatever. So that's its quality. So which means it's pretty good, right? So you take Clone as highly as you take a forecasting cost removal. I would rather have Lightning Bolt, certainly. I would rather have Doomblade. But better than most solid creatures, or most decent, pretty good creatures. Coat of Arms, they reprinted, so that's cool. It's always been a good card. It's one of those win more cards, but whatever. You have a bunch of guys of a tribe out, and you drop it, and presumably that's game over, because they're all like 10/10s now, or 5/5s or something. Don't think I'd play it in limited though, because it's it's global, so it helps your opponent too. So that's not good, unless you just have like a super tribe